goodness. I was worried that wouldn't turn out nearly obnoxious enough. It's like 8 o'clock right now. This is like the only real tolerable temperature to ride at. All day it was like, felt like 40 degrees Celsius, which whatever that means in Fahrenheit to you weird Americans, I don't know, but it's hot, muggy, and humid and terrible. And the only real option to get out is to like use the last little bit of the day as the sun goes down. The little bit of exploring I want to do that way has a very soupy, disgusting mix of water, mud, and I'm gonna assume motor oil sitting there waiting to just make my day terrible. That's fine. The short, sweet, usual suspects it is. I know it might be like painful to look at such a big, bold, gaudy, terrible decal on a set of handlebars where you can't read anything, but there's just something about that look that I've always liked. I don't know that it'll ever go away or not, but I'm like excited to see what the POV footage of this GoPro on my chest is going to look like with that there. Ooh, there's a cool spot to go in. Watch your feet. Okay, determined, not the best spot to go ride a track lacrosse bike. Imagine this is kind of wet. Terrible. Oh, it's not. This sort of sucks. There's so many different species of fly and insect and bug that are just chasing me everywhere I go. The minute I slow down, they land and bite. Does not properly lend itself to the slower style riding that is navigating a fixed gear track lacrosse bike. Moving along half decent now. So I will stop on this bridge to get this thumbnail photo. I am sorry to just keep going on about this, but I am just so pleased at how this turned out. Some people, they get their kicks out of like cleaning their drivetrain or buying a new bike, building it, making sure everything's perfect. Me? Stickers on handlebars. Okay, now to the actual essence and the body of this video, this month's Q&A. The Q&A prompt was posted on the community tab of the channel. If you missed it, sorry. Now, as the channel has grown, there is 91 questions thrown in here in a day and a half. I'm not going to get all of them, sorry. But I think the most appropriate way to start this Q&A is with the quick fire round by Christian Killen. Dogs or cats? Dogs. Disc brake or rim brake? Disc brake. In 1 week, would you prefer a 100-mile trip or a daily commute? 100-mile trip. Save one bike. Which one? BMX. Overall preferred gear range setup. A 42 with an 11.3 to 36 10-speed. Baseball cap or cycling cap? This is a good question. What tools would you buy first other than the basic Allen key, tire levers, and so on? I think you should have a chain whip and a cassette removal tool and something for the bottom bracket that you own for removing and installing. When you ride fixed brakeless, does it look like a match SF video, or are you much more cautious? Why don't you run a front brake just in case? I am more cautious than that. I don't run a front brake because I don't know, I don't feel like I need it. But if there was like a day that I felt I wanted to put one on, I would. What's the weirdest thing you've seen someone else do to their bike? Generally stuff with tape. People always tape stuff instead of fixing them the right way. Like cables or like grips. It's always tape. What's the minimum tire width you'd ever consider running tubeless? 33. Do you think road cycling culture is wildly over-consumerist? If so, why is it like that? And what is the antidote? Yes, I do think it is wildly over-consumerist. And I think that the reason for that is because of new releases so quickly in the road bike world. And just like the overall image of what a road cyclist is so plastered on TV screens that you can like emulate it a lot more than you can like other facets of cycling. Instagram didn't help at all. I think the antidote is like the fact that there's no racing going on this year, and like more people are starting to kind of like explore maybe the less exercisey side of cycling and just like going out and riding, tooling around like I did at the start of this video. I went and rode for like an hour and I had a great time. Is there a resource for bike parts and compatibility? I have an early 2000 Trek 26 or mountain bike frame. Think of Sheldon Brown. Go to Sheldon Brown's website, and anything that you have questions about, he has an answer for. Here's a question I don't have an answer to. What advice would you have for vets riding with new riders? Like, what advice should we give without turning new people off from the sport? I'm terrible at this in person. I guess the biggest thing is just to get that new rider in the mindset that it's not an inconvenience for them to be there. Like, I know what it feels like to be less strong than someone else, and you're like, I'm holding you back. I'm making this suck for you. And it's like, no, I want you to be riding here with me. So don't worry about the speed. But I don't know how to convey that in a way that someone feels comfortable with it. Aren't we seeing videos of your skateboarding skills or more BMX stuff? Mostly because I don't have time to shoot it. It takes a little bit of effort to actually get that stuff done, where typically I shoot these videos on my way to and from work and with a little bit of spare time that I have at night. Like right now. Once I quit my job and I'm doing this full time, you'll see more and more of that stuff. Further to an earlier question, would you consider putting a front brake on the track lacrosse to make it more versatile trail and road bike? Yes, and then it would come off again. Where do you find your parts? I also live in Nova Scotia and I get them from a multitude of places. A myriad of local shops. I'll buy all sorts of stuff that they might have in stock. Kind of a luxury that I've been afforded to be able to do through this channel pretty recently. And then before that, before being able to like go in and support a shop with like $200 to $400 purchases, I used to just get everything on Amazon, Jensen, or Chain Reaction. And then sometimes I would just buy literally direct from manufacturers if I liked their product enough. Where do you get the music for your videos? I get them from SoundCloud artists. I also have an account with Epidemic Sound, which is kind of expensive, and I don't use it as much as I should for the money that I spend on it. And then sometimes if I want to use just like a mainstream song, I will take the hit on AdSense. When it comes down to it, if there's a song I want to use and that's the video I want to make and it fits with that song, I'm not going to let, $50 stand in the way of making what it is that I actually wanted. When you do a 1x conversion, do you swap the chainring? Yes. Is it better to stick with tubes or convert a non-tubeless ram and tire in terms of reliability? I think you should stick with tubes. Okay, I'm going to answer this last question inside because it's way more appropriate, and that's where he is. But that'll be the end of the Q&A. And the question is, how old is Norton? The answer being, he is 8. The follow-up question, is he the best boy? Big stretch. And the answer is yes. Yes, he is. Actually, if you want to see a bunch of like really good Norton content almost every day, you should just follow Angela on Instagram. She's always out with him doing all sorts of cool stuff. She takes good pictures of him. That's it. That's the end of this video.